St. Thomas was once asked, "What do I have to do to become a saint?" And he responded, "Will it." First thing, you have to want to be a saint, right? So he was a master of brevity, and I'm not, clearly. So I feel unworthy to comment on St. Thomas, not only because of that, because he was not only brilliant, but he was very holy, a tremendous love for our Lord. You know, St. Thomas was born in the year 1225, died in the year essentially 1274, just a little short, I guess, of his 50th birthday. He was born to a very, very well-to-do, very noble family. In fact, he was earmarked for a military career, and he certainly had the physical power to serve well as a soldier. But early on, he gave his heart to our Lord, gave his life to our Lord. He wanted to join a new religious order called the Dominicans. They were mendicants. They actually made their daily bread by begging. It was considered to be very much beneath a man of such noble birth as St. Thomas Aquinas to not only enter the priesthood rather than the military life, but that was usually reserved for the second-born son. But that he would lower himself to be begging in the streets. His father violently actually opposed his choosing an ecclesiastical career, especially with the mendicant order, and actually had him kidnapped. Surrounded by soldiers, they tried to pull the religious habit off of him, and they couldn't do that, which was a kind of a measure of his power, physical power. But the soldiers could not manage to do that. So they simply conducted him to a castle and held him there, prisoner. He was imprisoned by his father until he changed his mind. In fact, his father was so desperate and so morally destitute that he actually sent a woman of very poor moral character in to try to dissuade St. Thomas Aquinas from his, the celibacy of the priestly life and so on. And St. Thomas reached into the fireplace with his bare hands, pulled out a burning log, and chased her out of the room. After which he collapsed, actually, and fell into kind of a deep sleep, and he saw two angels coming to him. They were carrying a golden cincture. They wrapped it around him and pulled it so tight, and it was on fire itself, and he woke up with a start at that moment. But they say that after that time, St. Thomas never again experienced any impure temptations whatsoever that had any hold over him whatsoever, leaving him a very clear mind and a sharp intellect to just ponder the things of God. And when you read his writings, you see a very clear, ordered mind, which really did try to, as much as possible, understand the mysteries of the world in which we live, and as it was created by God in order. He also, of course, delivered his mind not only to philosophy, but to theology and the sacred scriptures, to understanding them, to expounding them. Summa Theologica, or some say Summa Theologiae, is still the masterwork of theology. The standard for teaching Catholic seminarians on their way to the priesthood. There are many, many stories related to his life that show a man of iron will, but an iron will for good. He was a very willful man, but he was willful in the sense that he was willful for God's will. He wasn't self-willed. He was God-willed. Okay? So he's, of course, the supreme patron saint of all Catholic education. There are other Catholic educators who are also given that title, but none can challenge St. Thomas for a certain preeminence in that. And he certainly is a central figure for our traditional Catholic faith. His humility was remarkable, and he's a great, well, we'd have to say, role model, a supernatural role model for us. We call upon him frequently to bless our efforts here in remaining faithful to our Lord in the traditional Catholic faith and the traditional Catholic religion.